my name is Crystal Melanson from Zen Functional Wellness, and I am here today to show you how to make elderberry syrup. So this is something you definitely want to have on hand right now this time of year to help with all of those sicknesses that are going around. So elderberry syrup is a powerful supplement, and it has been shown through research to help with colds and flus. And it's something that you can easily make yourself at home. And it's safe for everyone in your family. So from babies to adults to the elderly, it's very safe for anyone to take, and it actually tastes good. So when we're talking about elderberries and how powerful they are, a study did show that they were very effective in inhibiting the H1N1 flu virus. So that's when they really kind of started getting promoted, is when it was shown that it was helped to decrease that viral replication, so to help with that virus. And this is best when taken at the first sign of a cold or a flu. And you can also take it preventatively. So if you are out at a family gathering and your cousins have been sick, or all the kids are playing and sharing toys and there's snot going everywhere, maybe you want to have a little bit of elderberry syrup that day to just help prevent any viral infections. And so elderberry, in 2016, there was a study that showed that the participants that were taking the syrup experienced less days of sickness compared to the placebo group. So the ones taking the syrup experienced only 57 days of sickness compared to 117 of the placebo group. And they also reported the severity of symptoms. So when they did get sick, their severity of symptoms were less than half of what was reported by the other group. And there's quite a few studies like this out there actually on elderberries. So that's great that they have been researched, and it has really shown their effectiveness and their power. So so it's a very cost-effective and easy way to just make big batches of it to have on hand to get you through the winter. And so what you want to do is find a good source of elderberry. So you do want to find an organic source, and it can take a little bit of research. So I found this brand online that I think I'm pretty happy with, Magjo Natural. So they are certified organic European elderberries, and they're whole. So I got this 1 pound, I think it was like $39. That can sound like a lot, but when you're talking about this, we're using just a bit of it and making an extraction. And elderberry syrup is not cheap, so you might pay like 15, 20 bucks for like 4 ounces, and this will give you cups and cups of the syrup for what we're getting out of it. So elderberries are just going to be these tiny dried little berries, and you do not want to eat these. So we'll talk about that in a second, but find a good source of elderberries dried. And then just a sweetener and a few other ingredients that you would like. And that's all you really need to make this extract. So why you don't want to eat them raw is elderberries do carry a toxic compound that you need to deactivate with heat, and that is why you don't make any sort of like raw tincture or anything out of this. You want to make the extract is because you need that heat to deactivate that, to make it just keep those compounds that are actually helping your immune system, and you don't want any of those side effects. So it's important to follow these instructions accordingly. Don't try to cut corners with the time or anything. And so today we're going to make a syrup, but you can easily make gummies as well, which is great for kids or adults. I love gummies. And as always, consult a physician before you try something new. But in general, I give this to my baby and my family, so we really love to have this on hand. And so to take it, there are different recommendations out there. If you want to take it preventatively, maybe a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon a day, and a little less than that for smaller children, so like a fourth or so. You could do that. But when it's really gonna work is when you start to feel symptoms or when you're sick. So when you start to feel symptoms, you can take adults 1 to 3 teaspoons every 3 waking hours. So it only lasts for a few hours. So you wanna take it throughout the day. And then the babies and the children, maybe like a 1/4 to 1 teaspoon every 3 hours. So there aren't, you know, the exact measurements. So that's why we try to make, when you're making at home, to get the best dosage as possible, is measuring out and making sure you have like those 2 cups at the end, because you want to make the dosing as accurate as possible. But that's going to be about the general guidelines. There are different guidelines out there, and you can take that for a few days while you're feeling sick, and take it throughout this winter season. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so now we have our dried elderberries here, and we have about 100 grams. And I weighed them out on the scale. It's about less than 1 cup, but if you have a scale, go ahead and use that just to make sure you get it more accurate. And if you have time to soak it, some people recommend you soak them for 30 minutes to soften, but I haven't seen that it makes a huge difference for my syrup, so you can skip that if you need to. And we are just going to put this on the stove with water. We have 1 to 2 quarts. I didn't use quite enough here, water, so you can add it at the end if you have to. But we have the water here, and we're just bringing it up to a boil uncovered, and we're going to add a little extra today. So for flavor and a little immune boost, I have some cinnamon and ginger and thyme and rosemary that we're mixing in. And then we have it for a boil, and this is we're going to turn this down to kind of a low boil simmer for about 45 to 60 minutes. And you need to make it sure you do at least that amount of time, and this will reduce the liquid about half. And when you're done, then this is how we're going to strain it out. So just mush the berries down to make sure we get all the liquid. And you want to have 2 cups. So if you need to add some more water at the end to get that amount, you can. And then we add the 2 cups back onto the stove, and we add our sweetener. So I use maple syrup because I do use this for a young child, and I like the flavor and minerals, but if you want to use raw honey, that's great as well. And so we add about 1.5 cups of our sweetener to the elderberry extract, and this is going to turn it into that syrup. So we put the burner on low and reduce this again about 10 to 30 minutes just to reduce the water in there to make it thicker. And then when you're all done, we have some nice elderberry syrup. So you can separate it and put it in jars so that it'll keep. You can put in the fridge and the freezer, keeping you healthy all winter long. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. Otherwise, to find more information, you can visit me at zenfunctionalwellness.com.